Hello everyone, Jake Peters here again from Hapeman Electronics, here with a tip, trick, hack, life hack, industrial hack, whatever you want to call it. And basically today what we're going to describe to you is how to use the second stage of your modern HVAC thermostat to control your own supplementary heat. Now, basically this is only going to work if you have a modern, relatively fancy HVAC thermostat, so whatever's obviously the thermostat that's controlling your heating and air conditioning system. If you have one of those, even like the basic programmable ones or like the dial ones that are on the wall that are analog, obviously those won't work. You need a thermostat with a second stage. Also, you need to make sure that the thermostat or the HVAC system that you're using is not currently occupying that second stage. Most systems are only a single stage system. Some industrial systems and larger systems have a two-stage system and will be using that second stage already. So just keep that in mind. Check out your thermostat and see what you have. But basically the idea is if your thermostat has a second stage that is unused, you can pull out a wire from the terminal for the second stage in your thermostat and pull out a pigtail of the common wire, which is also referred to as the C wire on modern HVAC systems, and you can tie those into a 24 volt AC relay, and then you can use that relay to control any kind of supplementary heat that you want. And basically the way that a second stage system works is that if you're heating up the building and the air conditioning or the heating system needs some help heating the building, then it will activate the second stage and allow a supplementary heating source to help it out, to be able to get your room or your house or your business or whatever up to temp faster. So basically we'll pull out these two wires to a second relay, and then you can use that relay to control essentially anything. What we did here was we used it to turn on and off our building. We have some old electric baseboards all throughout our shop that were previously disconnected, but we're hooking them back up using the second stage so that when it's especially cold out, our modern HVAC system can call on those baseboard thermostats to help heat everything up. So I'm going to take you for a walk around the shop and show you how we set up our thermostat, show you how we wired everything in, and hopefully you guys can use that knowledge in order to maybe modify your own HVAC system. Anyway, have fun. So basically, the way that we have our system wired is we have the two wires coming out of our thermostat for the W2, which is the stage 2 for the heat, and the C wire, which is the common wire for the heating system. We have them run all the way over to this box that we mounted on our wall here. Basically this is just some industrial box we had laying around. We just kind of patched it, repainted it, and repurposed it. Essentially what we have on here in the front is we have a light and we have a toggle switch. The light basically just lets you know if the baseboards are on or off. So if the system is being automatically controlled by the thermostat and stage 2 is being used, then basically our baseboards are on, then this light will turn on. What the switch is for is manual control. And essentially what we did is we wanted to make sure that if for some reason the main system isn't working, that we would have the ability to flip on the baseboards without having the thermostat control it. And this is essential, obviously, if the main heating system goes down or something like that. So you can see if I flip on the manual control, the baseboard light comes on, because anytime you flip this on, all the baseboards are on all the time. But if you have this off, this light will only turn on if the system is automatically controlling it. So basically I'll just show you, I won't get in too much detail inside the box, but essentially there are more wires here than there probably should be, but basically you can see we have a couple wires taped off. We have another baseboard in actually the room that we're in right now that used to be a part of the system that we took out for reasons of our own. But essentially this here is a 24 volt AC relay. And what we did was we brought the two wires over from the thermostat and put them across the coil of this relay. So now this relay gets turned on anytime the thermostat turns on stage 2 of the heating system. And essentially what we did with that was we used a 24 volt DC power supply, because we have some bigger contactors out in the garage that are 24 volts. And essentially this relay uses the 24 volts from this guy to turn on big contactors out in the garage that allow all the baseboards in the shop to turn on. So it's pretty simple, really. There's not a whole lot to it. We're basically just using a interlocking relay to turn on some beefier contactors, because this relay isn't powerful enough to actually manage the load of your average 220 volt baseboard heaters. So that's basically all we have going on here. Okay, so now we're out here on the shop floor, and you can probably tell based on the way things sound. It's a little bit of a big room. We're out here, there's no heat, that's why I got a jacket on. Essentially, this is where all the power comes in for our baseboards. We have a breaker box here that is supplying all of the 220 for all the baseboards in the shop. And essentially, the way that it works is it comes out of the breaker box, goes through these two big relays, or baby contactors, or whatever you want to call them, and goes out to all the baseboards in the shop. These are the two big relays that are controlled by that 24 volt AC relay inside that's interlocked with our thermostat. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we set up our thermostat here at Hapeman Electronics. We're obviously using a Honeywell system. It's a smarter, modern thermostat, Wi-Fi. You can control it remotely and things like that, but your system may be more fancy than this, might be less fancy than this, I don't know, but basically this will give you an idea of how we set up our system. So basically I'm going to go to the system settings, which is under menu. If you have a similar thermostat, it might be different for yours, obviously. We'll go to system setup. This is how you set up how your system is controlled. So we're going to go next. It's what's it installed in. We're a business. We just name it HE Office for our business name. And then we have heating and cooling here, so we check both of those. We have a forced air system. It's electric. Number of cooling stages, we only have one cooling stage. So theoretically you could hook up supplementary cooling as well, but we're basically just doing supplementary heating here for this particular example. Number of heating stages, we have 2 stages selected. And it says both W and W2 wires are connected. W2 is the terminal on the back of the thermostat that you pull out along with the common wire for your relay in order to control your supplementary heat. And then the last thing that it asks you is who controls the fan. Is it the system or is it the thermostat? And the system controls the fan. That's automated. And you go back to home and it's all set up. That's it.